Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. From my location, I greet you and I salute you. I also greet my president, Maazin Nnamdi Okukano. Good afternoon from my location. And also I salute my Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. Ngozi Orebeze. And in general, I salute my Prime Minister, Simon Ekpa Njoku, the Obatobi, one of people of Biafra. I salute you. I salute you, Musa. Good afternoon from here. And I salute all the Biafrans that are in line in the quest of our redeclaration of United State of Biafra, redeclared, not a new country, redeclared. The country that was exist for over 3 years, from 1967 to 1970, physically. Then go down, lost his territory and lost his sovereignty. Remember that they denied us this, but the denier and the lost is not defeat. Destiny can be delayed, but it can never be denied. Biafra is a destiny which can never be denied. I repeat, Biafra is a destiny, but it can never be denied. These are the things that I want you to be occurring into your mind this afternoon as we adhere to the importance of our program this wonderful afternoon, for us to understand the meaning of our redeclaration also, and why we have to redeclare it back, because it was a lost country totally. If you check from 1967 to 1970 to 2024, November 29, 2024, that we made our official redeclaration. That is when you may understand exactly what I am saying. Like when Christ came, remember, he was died, and what happened? He raised, in fact, he turned automatically, get himself back, which is resurrected, like redeclaration of the life of Christ, like what we are doing today. I see you, Chigozie. I see you, Bishop. Good afternoon from my location. Sorry for coming late. Something happened. That is why we are late today. But please bear with us as we continue to push for our movement, which is very, very important to we all. So there is one thing that I want us to know is this. Agitation of IPOB, agitation of Masob, agitation with any human being at all, that after our declaration, he's still claiming, you are just a male refugee camp. You are just a male rebel. You are liability to the international global community as a whole. This is what they call you, and this is how they see you. I am not the one saying it. You know that I must always come here with fact and figure, with evidence, to prove what I am saying. The word says, no matter how you do agitation, that once there is a lost country, Biafra lost, to calculate from 1967 to 2024, how many years that Biafra is not in the map? That Biafra that Ojukwu was declared was lost. The international community said that Biafra was a lost country, physically. Then how can we resurrect this country to become alive? We can only do that by physically re-declaration of that name back. And that is why we, with our deputy prime ministers, with our Obatobie, giving us the heat, why we have to re-declare it. Is now I understand very well why our prime minister, Simon Ebanjok, choose that word, re-declared. Re-declared. Now I understand it. If Nigeria government can have mind to reintegrate a Boko Haram terrorist to become a fresh military in Nigeria, what is stopping you since over all these years to re-declare if you know the road to the freedom, to have a new country? Because you don't know it. That is why you cannot declare it. That is why you cannot form a government in exile. The present Biafra that we are fighting start from exile, from Mazen Nnamdi Okukano. So everything about the movement is in exile. Everything about the movement that we are into is from where? From exile. So when you are laughing, they declare the Biafra government, you that an IPOB member, are you not in exile? Some Masop members are in exile. Is it not the truth? These are the facts and figures. The Mazen Nnamdi Kanu starting about Biafra in the homeland. He was started everything where? London, in exile. The mission started in exile. The mission is going to end in exile. And from exile, we come back home. Go and check one of Chukwuemeka Odumegwu addressing Biafran people. He said after the war that Biafra will come from diaspora. Go and check. And it's true. How can it come? Do you think it can come with agitation and the protests? The answer is hell no. It can never come from agitation and the protests. It can only come by re-declaration of the new country. This is how it can come. It cannot come with what I think. It cannot come for how I feel. It cannot come because of I am in an organization called IPOB. It cannot, the world can never call you a country without official re-declaration of that new country. You never ask yourself, type on your phone, what is the benefit of re-declaration of a lost country? A country that's lost through war. Just type it on your phone. Type on the Google map, type, what is the benefit of re-declaration of a lost country? Number one, you find an answer. Then number two, type on your phone, agitation, a long time protest. Can it make people, the international community, to see you as a country? Type, you find an answer. The world is no longer what I think. That is why I don't say what I think here. That's why I don't do what I think is the best way for me to narrate it. No. I do what the world are looking up to. And on the template Or do you know there is many adopted protocol for 21st century for having a new country? Do you know that? Do you know there is a protocol for you to achieve a new country? When a country is being lost, one of the main protocol is what? Re-declaration of that new country. I said what? Re-declaration of that new country, that old country, to re-declare it again with a document, whether in exile, moreover in exile, because of the insecurity, gives you a right that after that re-declaration of that old country, it automatically become an existing sovereignty. The protocol, the new protocol of the world of a new country is no longer under military regime, how many border, how many territory you control, but it depends on the population of the human beings that are living there. You become a sovereignty. That's why I said in due time, in this 21st century, everything is about to change. And the changes are in the favor of you and I, no matter how long it may take, but it must come. So, I want us to know today, while we are here, there is no amount of agitation, there is no amount of protest that will make the world to say, oh, they are agitating for the Biafra that was declared in 1967 to 1970. No, the world can never, because of agitation, because of claiming under self-determination, without official realization of this Biafra, nobody will look at you. They will continue to see you in a three-word: rebel. One, as number one. Refugee. Two, they will also see you as what? Activist. Three, they will see you as what? Liability. Liability. How this is a four criteria of the world. Seeing you, your IPOB agitation, your IPOB protest, you are fallback bridge, you are CRC. It's only on that mandate of the re-declaration of that old country, like rebranding a new house, painting it off, to draw attention of people to come and live inside it, to know that this house is been existing. Re-declaration proving that there was a lost sovereign entity that was existing in so years that lost his sovereignty. Re-declaration of it is bringing that sovereignty back in track, and also to give the other countries in the world a chance to do what? To talk, to have power, to come into you, for you to understand, for them to understand that you are under external remedial succession. That was just it. To become what? Under that external. Now you give the world, the countries in the world of power to do what? To talk about you. To know that they also have rights to discuss about you. But when you are not doing that, they can, nobody will, that is why nobody interfere. The international community could not bluntly, proudly, by forcefully push into the case of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Do you know why? Because there is no official declaration. There is no external. It remains internal affair of one Nigeria. That is why Nigeria have chance to sentence Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Re-declaration could have changed his status from a common criminal to a president of a new re-declared country. Then they will also treat him as a prisoner of conscience. You don't know that. And you wear black, red, wear red beret, red t-shirt, come outside and start fooling yourself. And the world laughing at you every blessed day. The world is laughing at you every blessed day. Yes, Shido Emmanuel, I greet you. Good afternoon from here. Good afternoon. Please, your comment is very important. So let the world know that our people are here and listening. And also, whenever you click the love emoji button, proving to the YouTube that people are understanding. People love what we are doing. So please, I urge you to do that. As you join, please like and share. If it is your first time coming, there is a 3 dots in front of you. Click on that 3 dots. You will see like and share. It is very important if you may do so. If you love the message, share the message. If you love the program, put a comment down. Put a comment down. So it is very important. Because by doing that, you are letting the world to know that we are live and we are direct to fight for our message. Without this declaration, without declaration document, in the eyes of the international global community, there is no amount of agitation, there is no amount of protest that will make the world to say, oh, you have agitated for this lost country so much, because the country was being lost in the hands of another country. And that country is in charge of their territorial integrity. So when you refuse to make official declaration, you are what? The case become internal affair of Nigeria. Like what British claimed in 1960 to 1970, that Biafra matter is internal affair of the territorial integrity of one Nigeria. Now, when you make declaration of when you make this real declaration, it now moves from the internal affair to become external under the international law of UN Charter, remedial succession. Also, in the terms of the Geneva Convention, it becomes a primary act. It becomes a primary subject to the international global community. Go and check Geneva Convention 96, Article 1 in brackets. Go and check and hear what it said. Why you need redeclaration for you to claim back the sovereignty that was lost. That's why I ask you a question. Calculate for me from 1967 to 2024, how many years Biafra was lost totally? The one Ojukwu declared was lost, but lives physically. They said physically the country was being lost, but spiritually it is in the minds of the citizens of that particular lost country that we are not from this country. That is why they could stood up to agitate. At a time, you go into what they call, they ask you, go into real declaration to claim a full sovereignty and also to give the international global community chance to enter, to question Nigeria. To do what? To question Nigeria. Triple M. Good afternoon from here. I greet you. Thank you so much. I can see you. Chidome Manel, I can see you. Thank you so much. So, without this real declaration, what we are going to hear today from the international global community is about agitation, protests for a very long time without real declaration. Can the world see you or call you a country? And they said, oh, you have agitated from over 50 years. Because of this 20 agitation and protests, from today, we recognize you as a Biafra. Common sense. And also said, you could not push away your present leader away, who was incarcerated because of the movement of the new country. That you will not push him away. That you will maintain by redeclaration. It's now automatically becomes a president of the new of the redeclared that old country, who automatically becomes a new country that will receive recognition. Then your leader will be treated as a prisoner of war of conscience. So the only people, the only solution, those who understand this protocol, those who understand this criteria, those who understand this template is what? the USB re-declared. Continue typing. Hashtag the word recognize USB re-declared. Hashtag international community grants recognition to USB re-declared. This will be our code. This is going to be our code. Because we have met up that criteria. We follow that template that you list out under international law. That with agitation and protest, that you can never be a sovereign state or recognized as a state. Both whether old or new, that you have to go. If it is under new, you make official new declaration. If it is old, you make a declaration of formal existing sovereignty that is no longer exists. That is why I said its destiny can be delayed, but it can never be denied. The destiny, Biafra is a destiny. It can be delayed, but it can never be denied in our mind, in our blood. That is why we're here today, to prove to the world that we have re-declared it and we have taken our rights back. I hope we are communicating, my people. I hope that we are communicating, my people. Can someone prove to me that we are communicating? If we are, please let me in the comment section. If we are making common sense, please, I urge you to do that so I can know that we are moving very fast and people are understanding the message clearly. If anyone is here, please, I urge you to help me to. Are we communicating, my people? Are we communicating? I'm waiting for an answer. Are we communicating? Are we communicating? Nobody's in the house. So, are we communicating, my people? Okay. Blessing is the only one who said yes, we are. Thank you so much, Blessing. Because some missed some comments encouraged to push more harder. That is why sometimes ask questions for us to know if we are still rubbing our mind together or are we still in one house. So, this issue of our declaration, if you're a member of IPOB organization, if you're from Masab, forget that shenanigan you are doing. Forget that you are mediocre movement. It leads you nowhere. How could a man like Wazuke said, my movement is non-violence movement. It is non-exodus. Niachi Rap One Nigeria. And you are there claiming, supporting him. That his movement is non-violence movement. I agreed on that one. But what of when you was it telling you that his movement is non-exodus? Can you check what is non-exodus on your phone? On the ask question, the meaning of non-exodus. That he don't want to leave one Nigeria. He wants his Biafra under one Nigeria. That is why we are on different notes. We want Biafra to be exit from Nigeria outrightly. We want Biafra exodus exit, not non-exodus. Do you understand the English very well? So that is why when you see Wazuke with his, you will know who he's working for. With that, you may understand who Wazuke is working for. when his own movement is non-violent and non-exodus from Nigeria. Could you imagine such a word? And that is those attacking us. That is somebody who is helping one Nigeria, thinking that he can destroy the movement. He will never. Blessing, I see you. Good afternoon from here. Happy New Year. Thank you so much. How could a man who believes in non-exodus be talking that he won won Biafra outright from Nigeria, for Biafra to have his own sovereignty and have his own territorial integrity? Is it not the truth? And people that don't know the left from the right claim he's a lawyer. I am this and that. He won Biafra, non-exodus. Sorry, we won Biafra from exit exodus. Let me put it that way to you. Not non-exodus. We want, yes, exodus is what we want. We can never remain under one Nigeria as a country. It can't be possible. It can never work, because those are my leaders fought for to exit Nigeria, because Nigeria remains evil. Nigeria remains a death sentence to every indigenous person. I want to understand there is no amount of sabotage after this our declaration that will stop us. So Wazirike, after they kidnapped Mazen Nandekano, after they arrested Mazen, after they sentenced Mazen Nandekano in Nigeria, that particular day, you was having a meeting with Hope Uzodinma. And what is the outcome of the meeting? Is this rubbish that we are presenting to the world, claiming how foolish, stupidity you are, educated moron you are. And that is all you can come out with. Sorry, you come late, and you cannot do anything. And you cannot stop us, because we have already exited Nigeria without you. Continue with, we are under one Nigeria. We have different mission. What we have is not what you have. Wazirike, you want your Masobu Biafra under one Nigeria, but we want Biafra without under Nigeria. We want totally outright exit from Nigeria. That is the Biafra we are looking for, not that type of fear. So continue with that your shenanigan, and continue doing it. Yes, my people, the truth must be told. When old fools are messing up, we got to correct them without wasting time. That is what Obato someone always do. When they start their shenanigan, Obato will stood up and give a word out to them. Then they will know that. Look at Ebitel Wazirike. People that died in Oji River because of you. What was the gain? And why did they die? They died because of the one Biafra that will not be under one Nigeria. You want Biafra like Taiwan inside China. Could you imagine that? That is not what we want. We know what we want. We want to exit Nigeria finally. We never want to stay around Nigeria anymore. That is one thing that you must understand. So continue with your one Nigeria and allow us, please. Allow us, we are warning you, Wazirike, to stay away from our Biafra, because the Biafra we're talking about was the lost Biafra that needed a declaration to become officially a sovereign state once again. As the world are watching how we can be able to achieve our recognition. It is very important at this time that we are into. That is why we don't have to panic. That is why we must stand strong and remain who we are, because we are on the right track. And your government, my government, is doing everything right to make sure that we got our official recognition as a sovereignty, as a new country, as that old country that was redeclared automatically becomes a new country. We want you to also know that there is no amount of you protesting for 100 days, agitating for 20,000 years, that will make the global community to come interfere. They will also say that, oh, this is internal affair of one Nigeria. That is why they said that the declaration is automatically a legal machine that leads to a sovereignty, a country in waiting for international recognition. That is what USB is. That is why we must know the exact thing that we are doing, because it's only through that way that you may understand everything. So let no one be afraid and do not panic, because you are doing the needful and you are on the right track, and you are on top of what the world see as someone who needed freedom. It is very, very important at this stage that we are into. Now, the benefit of this declaration is what you may ask. There is numerous benefits that we are going to prove to you in a GV. After we complete what we're doing right now on the phone, I want you to know that everything that is happening this time around is what Chukwuka mandated that it will happen, and the time has come. The time has what? Come. So, in the very speedily movement, I want you to know that only U.S. government has proven what we release Nnamdi Kanu, Simon Ekpa, and all the well-meaning Biafrans in the world. So we must continue to support United States of Biafra government for us to exit one Nigeria fully, and also for us to continue to do what? To live with sense of belonging as a human being. Let no one change your mind. Let no one disturb you, because the right track must remain, my people. So as we are going now, we are going to use the document of what we are here to do today and push. You know how we do it. You know how it rolls here. That we will first play the document and also explain it in our own common understanding. So let us continue listening right from now. What we are going to hear is what? With the only agitation and the protest for a lost country, for many years, without a declaration, can the government of the world grant them recognition and said they are a country? That's what you're going to hear. Listen to this. It is very imperative. It is very, very imperative.
The short answer is no. Without a formal redeclaration or a clear legal claim of statehood, the international community will almost always treat the movement as a domestic human rights issue rather than a sovereignty dispute. In international law, there is a massive legal wall between people who are unhappy, protest, and a state that is occupied, redeclaration. 1. The trap of agitation. When a group only protests or agitates without a formal declaration of continuity, the internal matter label, foreign governments, like the UK, USA, or UN, will use the excuse that they cannot interfere in the internal affairs of the parent country. They will call for dialogue or better treatment, but they will never call for independence. No legal seat. You cannot send an ambassador to a protest. You can only send an ambassador to a state, even one in exile. Without a declaration, there is no office for a foreign power to talk to. The statute of limitations. If you wait too many years without a formal legal claim, international law begins to assume that you have acquiesced, accepted, being part of the parent country. 2. Why the redeclaration is the magic key. The declaration changes the status of the people from minorities seeking rights to citizens of an occupied nation. Feature: agitation/protest. Redeclaration/GIE. Legal goal: reform of the current system. Replacement of the current system. International law, human rights law, weak protection. Law of armed conflict/statehood. Strong. Foreign aid. Humanitarian charity, food/medicine. Diplomatic support, and state-to-state aid. End game: autonomy, or Better treatment. Total sovereignty/reinstatement. 3. The silent death of a cause. If a country is lost in war and the survivors only protest, the world eventually applies the doctrine of prescription. This means that if country A holds the land of country B for long enough without a formal legal state-level challenge, the world eventually recognizes country A as the legal owner, simply because they have been there the longest. The redeclaration stops the clock. It tells the world, we do not care if they have been here for 50 years. We still claim this land under our original 1967, 1914, etc. legal authority. 4. Case study, the forgotten versus the recognized. The Kurds have agitated and protested for decades with massive movements. However, because they have often focused on autonomy within Iraq or Turkey rather than a consistent, unified government in exile with a single DOI, they struggle to get state-level recognition. The Sahrawi, Western Sahara, they have a much smaller population and less land, but they declared a republic immediately. Because of that document, they are a member of the African Union, and 80-plus countries have recognized them at some point. Summary. Without a redeclaration, you are asking for pity. With a redeclaration, you are asserting a right. International recognition is a legal process. You cannot win a legal battle if you haven't filed the paperwork, the DOI. Would you like me to show you the specific standard operating procedure for how a group transitions from a protest movement into a formal state in exile?
We are coming to that. Listen again. I'm not the one saying. Listen again. Listen. Listen to this.
When a government in exile (GIE) issues a redeclaration or a formal statement of continued statehood, it is acting as the custodian of the state's legal identity. Under international law, this isn't just about pride, it is about preventing the legal death of the state while its territory is occupied or controlled by a rival. Here is the breakdown of the essential documents and the specific benefits they provide. 1. The core legal documents. To maintain a legal operating system in exile, a government needs more than just a speech. It requires a suite of documents that prove legitimacy and continuity. The Declaration of State Continuity, often called a redeclaration, this document formally rejects the authority of the occupying power and asserts that the state's sovereignty remains with the exiled body. The formal charter or constitution. If the original territory's constitution is suspended, the GIE must issue a charter explaining how it will govern itself and its people, diaspora, until liberation. Letters of credence. These are formal documents presented by ambassadors of the GIE to host countries to establish diplomatic relations. Executive decrees, extraterritorial. Laws passed by the GIE that affect its citizens or assets abroad, e.g., freezing national gold reserves in foreign banks. 2. Benefits under international law. A recognized government in exile enjoys specific legal superpowers that a simple rebel group does not. Benefit, how it works. Sovereign immunity. Leaders and diplomats cannot be arrested or sued in the courts of host countries. They are treated as heads of state. Asset control. The GIE can legally sue in foreign courts to take control of state-owned bank accounts, embassies and ships located abroad. Treaty capacity. They can sign new international agreements, join organizations, like the African Union or UN committees, and request military aid. Locus standi. They have the right to stand in international courts like the ICJ, to bring cases against the occupying power. Consular powers. They can issue certificates of nationality, or travel documents, that allow their citizens to cross borders without the occupier's passport. 3. The presumption of continuity. The most important benefit is a legal principle called post liminium, or the presumption of continuity. Under international law, once a state is recognized, there is a strong bias toward its survival. Even if the state loses its territory, one of the 4 pillars of the Montevideo Convention, international law allows the government pillar to stand in for the others temporarily. The legal fiction. As long as a GIE exists and is recognized by at least one other major power, the state is not extinct. It is merely dormant. Protection against annexation. Because the GIE maintains the DOI, the occupier cannot legally claim the land is theirs through prescription, ownership by long-term possession. Historical note. During World War II, the Dutch government in exile in London was able to command its merchant navy and manage its colonial territories in the East Indies because their legal fact, the DOI constitution, was recognized by the Allies, even though the Netherlands was fully occupied. Summary. The paper shield. The redeclaration is the paper shield that protects a nation's soul when its body, the land, is captured. It ensures that when the conflict ends, the state doesn't have to reapply for existence. It simply returns to its original status. Would you like me to help you draft a template for a formal statement of diplomatic continuity that a government in exile might send to the United Nations? When a government in exile (GIE) issues a redeclaration or a formal statement of continued statehood, it is acting as the custodian of the state's legal identity. Under international law, this isn't just about pride, it is about preventing the legal death of the state while its territory is occupied or controlled by a rival. Here is the breakdown of the essential documents and the specific benefits they provide. 1. The core legal documents. To maintain a legal operating system in exile, a government needs more than just a speech. It requires a suite of documents that prove legitimacy and continuity. The Declaration of State Continuity, often called a redeclaration, this document formally rejects the authority of the occupying power and asserts that the state's sovereignty remains with the exiled body. The formal charter or constitution. If the original territory's constitution is suspended, the GIE must issue a charter explaining how it will govern itself and its people, diaspora, until liberation. Letters of credence. These are formal documents presented by ambassadors of the GIE to host countries to establish diplomatic relations. Executive decrees, extraterritorial, laws passed by the GIE that affect its citizens or assets abroad, e.g., freezing national gold reserves in foreign banks. 2. Benefits under international law. A recognized government in exile enjoys specific legal superpowers that a simple rebel group does not. Benefit, how it works. Sovereign immunity. Leaders and diplomats cannot be arrested or sued in the courts of host countries. They are treated as heads of state. Asset control. The GIE can legally sue in foreign courts to take control of state-owned bank accounts, embassies and ships located abroad. Treaty capacity. They can sign new international agreements, join organizations, like the African Union or UN committees, and request military aid. Locus standi. They have the right to stand in international courts like the ICJ, to bring cases against the occupying power. Consular powers. They can issue certificates of nationality, or travel documents, that allow their citizens to cross borders without the occupier's passport. 3. The presumption of continuity. The most important benefit is a legal principle called post liminium, or the presumption of continuity. Under international law, once a state is recognized, there is a strong bias toward its survival. Even if the state loses its territory, one of the 4 pillars of the Montevideo Convention, international law allows the government pillar to stand in for the others temporarily. The legal fiction. As long as a GIE exists and is recognized by at least one other major power, the state is not extinct. It is merely dormant. Protection against annexation. Because the GIE maintains the DOI, the occupier cannot legally claim the land is theirs through prescription, ownership by long-term possession. Historical note. During World War II, the Dutch government in exile in London was able to command its merchant navy and manage its colonial territories in the East Indies because their legal fact, the DOI constitution, was recognized by the Allies, even though the Netherlands was fully occupied. Summary. The paper shield. The redeclaration is the paper shield that protects a nation's soul when its body, the land, is captured. It ensures that when the conflict ends, the state doesn't have to reapply for existence. It simply returns to its original status. Would you like me to help you draft a template for a formal statement of diplomatic continuity that a government in exile might send to the United Nations?
Please, Samuel Otago was eager to come. Well, he came late, he will do nothing. Because we know his mission. I understand it clearly that day Mazda Kano was being sentenced to life imprisonment. Owazike was invited by Hope Uzodimma to have negotiations to talk to him. So what we're seeing today is outcome of that meeting. And that is why he can open up. Claiming that he's a lawyer of zoological of animal kingdom. Claiming he's a lawyer of death sentence called One Nigeria. By saying that his movement of Massaw is non-exit, is non-exodus from Nigeria. Could you imagine such word coming from his mouth? Hello, I can see you. I can see you. Yes, blessing. What we need is total exodus from Nigeria. That is what we need. Total exodus. Is it from Nigeria? Chrissy Biafra, you're welcome. So let's continue. When a government in exile issue re-declaration of a former state of continuity of stakehold, it is acting as the custodian of the state legal identity. Under international law, this is just about a pride. It's about preventing the legal death of the state while its territory occupied by the Nigeria government, occupied Biafra that was declared, that was declared by Ojukwu, that was lost. We lost Biafra in the hands of one Nigeria by accepting no victor, no vanquish, which is a pure lie. We lost Biafra. That is the truth of the matter. That is why, what do I mean when I say you lost it? Because there is your currency does no longer exist. Your national anthem does no longer exist. Your flag is not existing physically. But in the realm of the spirit of the Biafran people, this Biafra that was lost is reigning. That is why the world can easily hear, make us to understand what it simply means of re-declaration. There is, you have had it here, there is no amount of there's no amount of agitation, no amount of protest under self-determination that will make the world, will make UN, we make America, we make any country in Africa to call IPOB and say, oh, my people, you are from Africa, you have agitated for so long, you have protested for so long of this Biafra that was lost. Please, from today, we have recognized you as a country, Biafra. In the international community, does not exist. And that is why they said, agitation, protest, without endless point, remains rebel. Number one, refugee. Number two, liability. Number three, constitutional nuisance in social media. Number four. Then number five, non-state actor. Number six, there is a six names. They see you with your over long time agitation without official re-declaration of the lost Biafra. Without this document of re-declaration, the world is not looking for you. They are not going to look at you. You remain in this six names, finally, activists who use social media under protest to make money. That is how the world sees how anybody under MASOB, under IPOB, under fallback. No, the fallback on is quite different. They went for the declaration, but because of the money that they was being paid, they denied the declaration. They become rebel on their own. The same movement. Now, when you are into over long time agitation and protest without official re-declaration of the lost country, it simply means the same name being tagged to those who went to Finland, who become the red Finland against the white Finland people, come to in existence and begin to work, and the world see you as a rebel, insubordination. They see you as a pure rebel. That is what you give yourself, not me. And before you give yourself that, the international community with the international law open their eyes openly and be looking at you to know who you are and what you want to do, and put you on class where you belong straight away. That is why when you see them, I owe them no apology if I start to insult the fools and the idiotic people who could not swallow their pride and face the reality, and face the present, face the future that is going to help them out. The redeclaration of old country is what? Proving that the old country is not dead, but it is alive. Look at where they finished the matter here. They said, they know that as you are declaring this lost country, that the occupier occupy every territory, that once you are declared, you has become automatically a sovereignty. You have become automatically a state. You have become automatically your own country. Then the world will now have chance under that you will argue under remedial secession that because of what happened before, that will also declare the lost country called Biafra is what happened now that we come south to make fully re-declared of this country, to prove that this country is not dead. Without re-declaration, with you and your protests, with you and the agitation, the Biafra remains dead. With all the shenanigans, without believing this document, you are proving among those, like Pastor who said that Biafra died years ago after the declaration, and many more like that. That is why we are calling on you to, from today, come back from that your stupidity thinking. Leave your pride. Leave, I was here 19 regulative, and you do what? Overtake is allowed. If you have been agitating like Wazurike, you were more time where you are going to fumble. I don't know more far why I go on even the prohibited. That your son cannot grow more than you. Wazurike, we have grown more than you. Because we have started using the modern adopted laws, the modern adopted protocol, the modern adopted criteria, the modern adopted template is what we are using in our declaration of United States of Biafra. For over how many for Wazirike? He never come out to claim he's the prime minister or what. It's only now that Simon Ekpa has teach them how to give a name. Shame on all of you. Shame on all of you who are making mockery of themselves on social media. Let's continue.
When a government in exile GIE issues a re-declaration or a formal statement of continued statehood, it is acting as the custodian of the state's legal identity.
Do you hear that word, legal? Grab that word, legal identity. In the custodian of the state, it becomes a legal identity. When a government in exile, issue re-declaration of a former state of the continuity of a statehood. Remember that Biafra was declared by Supreme Court 1970. Under 1 year, 4 countries in Africa organized this state. Because of the sabotage from Ifa Jonah and the Chukwuemeka senior brother, and over too much advice, over too much emotion, over too much cry for our people. Oh, people are dying, like Randocho. People are dying, Ojukwu said to, there is no arm to protect our people, oh, there is no this, so how could you? Ojukwu said to abide by his people's advice. Then Ojukwu now fell, in the words of Nelson Mandela, a leader who changes his will because of the care of his people is not a leader. A leader, he changes his movement because of the care of his people is not what? A leader. Ojukwu now, because of people's cry, without knowing that in the next few 3 days, that America has turned back to put ceasefire, to discuss issue of Biafra as external, that is no longer internal, with Sweden, with Norway. These are the countries in the world who came for us. But Nigeria used London to do the diplomatic work to stop the movement. Because of what? Ojukwu also succumbed because of pressure of our people. Like what you see Adando doing today. Like what you see Chika Mary Ike Audrey, Adapole doing today. Social media, one year we fair. 1 year amaho na 1 year amaho ebe drafia. Or na kuzundi ma ebe drafa ha ise opota for her. Could you imagine? Because of his on the mission that Nigeria gave to him. But we will shock all of you very soon. As the recognition is knocking, it's fast approaching. I'm sorry for all of you. Yes. I hope you heard it from here clearly. It says, under international law, this is just about pride. It's about preventing the legal death of the state while its territory occupied by the present country that you have declared against them to exit again. Are you following? This is how it is. This is what we are passing through. Here is the breakdown of how this external document and the specific benefits they provide. Let us go in and find out the truth.
Under international law, this isn't just about pride, it is about preventing the legal death of the state while its territory is occupied or controlled by a rival. Here is the breakdown of the essential documents and the specific benefits they provide. 1. The core legal documents. To maintain a legal operating system in exile, a government needs more than just a speech. It requires a suite of documents that prove legitimacy and continuity. The Declaration of State Continuity, often called a re-declaration, this document formally rejects the authority of the occupying power and asserts that the state's sovereignty remains with the exiled body.
Are you hearing it? To maintain a legal operating system in exile, government needs more than just a speech. It requires a suite of a document. That is why Simon Ebanjoko, the Prime Minister, told all of us that until we declare Biafra, then we will generate documents to prove to the world how serious we are. That despite that whatever we are doing, that we are just playing. Can you see it here? Without this document of our declaration, without this declaration that gives birth to the document, we are just rebel, constitute nuisance, liability, many names, activists, non-state actors, constitute nuisance under the internal affair of the country called One Nigeria. But when we make this our declaration, we are no longer internal. We become external to give the world power to come back to talk about the movement that is going on right now. And you could allow them, you could allow your stupidity to control you. You are greedy, you are envy, your jealousness is killing you. You are doing yourself more harm than good. You are what? Doing yourself more harm than good. That is why the Biafran people have stood up. The real Biafrans has stood up on the mandate to protect our sovereignty, and nobody will do us any harm. Yes, Triple M. Outside the re-declaration document, we are just making noise. Gossip, according to our PM. No, according to the international law, they are the one who said it here right now. Look at it. To maintain a legal operating system in the exile, a government needs more than just a speech. It requires a suite of a document that prove legitimacy and the continuity. Without this declaration document, you becomes rebel. 1. Liability. 2. Constituting nuisance. 3. And what again? And you become what? A non-state actor. And they call you a refugee. They call you activist. And no amount of under self-determination of external will actually declare that the world will have power. I give you an example of what I'm saying. In the month of October and November, there was a summit in South Africa. Check online, you can see. Type 2025 summit in South Africa. You will see African presidents talking about that Biafra matter is no longer internal, it has become external. That they will not allow any voice that are voicing out for freedom of his people to silence anymore. That they need to look into Biafra and Nigeria matter. It's because of words. Before that summit, our document of redeclaration proving that we are no longer making noise and we're no longer under internal, that we are in external, was in their table. That is why they can open up to say that the first time in life, they can say that Biafra matter is now external. That is no longer internal affair of Nigeria. Proving our DPM, our PM rights. Not only that, type in your phone, Adi Burkina Faso 2025. You will hear exactly the Kenya president right now talking about the issue of Biafra. That is no longer internal affair of Nigeria. It is external matter. Because what gives them that right? This re-declaration is not IPOB agitation. It's not like the IPOB protest. It's not about wearing red and red. It's about them maintaining the legitimacy and the continuity to prove that this sovereignty old school was lost, was re-declared, and there's people who had it in mind. Because Biafra live in the minds of all of us. That is why we are pushing very hard to make sure that our declaration holds the way it's supposed to be held. That is it. The declaration of the state continuity, often called a re-declaration, often called what? A re-declaration. Tiboyam said, there is that vulture that called him Owazurike of a person. Let him come and borrow sense. Yeah. The Ikwe that called himself a lawyer without brain. Let him come borrow sense here. Thank you so much. Triple M. I salute you. Ekwe. Okay, the old fool. I don't know. That's why I ask this question. In Igbo adage, I say, na mado mota nwa ka nwa ya kia. In this our movement of the hatred of Owazurike, and he forgotten that 1822 that Brazil was being fighting by a woman, by a man When a man step into UK for topic of declaration, it's like the woman know that my husband will be arrested. What happened? This woman who declared declaration of Brazil on behalf of the husband. When America wanted to try to do their British to do their, it's told he's a president of a new country that was declared. Could you imagine that? If Uche Chokukano has common sense with IPOB, what I could have done, then once Nakano was arrested, was what? We are declared. Because there is no structure, there is no government, there is no idea, there is no iota of idea of how to get a new country. Which that declaration could have released Mazen Khan. One, changing his status from a common criminal, from a terrorist, to become a president of a new country. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I see you. Thank you so much. Blessing. You're welcome. Michelle, you're welcome. Thank you so much. This name is hard for me to provide. David, I agree to you. You're welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you. And look at the way they write the word. This document formally rejects the authority of the occupying power. Now I begin to understand, since yesterday and today I found this document, I begin to understand very well the meaning of Mass Simon Ekpa, that without this registration document, that we are just making noise in social media. With this document now, it has approved that we are no longer making noise in social media. And we are no longer liability. We become responsibility of the international global community. We become responsibility of the international law. And with this declaration, people did not know that this is our declaration of Biafra, that nobody will arrest Ngozi Arabeze. Not even a matter of that she dropped the armed struggle and focus on the existing protocol of the new of the adopted charter, how to get a new country without violence. They said, you will hear it here if time permits us. If time permits us today, you will hear how our DPM is being saved by this official declaration document. People don't know about that. But I do not blame anybody, because me, I didn't know it before. Until I stepped outside from Nigeria, and until the last 4 or 5 months ago, I have time to start researching, trying to know what I need to know very well. That is how it all begins. That is how I start knowing things. That is how I start dropping some of my belief and the way I think, and start thinking in a way that I have a new country, that Biafra is not a new country. That is an existing sovereignty that was denied. Like when I use that word, destiny can be delayed, but it can be denied. Biafra was delayed. It's not a denied project. It is a living project. That is why we're here today to talk about it. That's why we are here. I know that we are late on this program because something happened today. I was shocked. The phone I used to research, after keeping this program down, when I'm supposed to do it, I wanted to run it for 5 hours today. How this phone got to start rebuilding and everything wiped out, it was shocked. Even up to now, the phone is in the mechanic. I just try using another phone anyhow, because what I was researching is in my head. Then I said, no, I must be here today. I don't know what happened to what. I think the phone has carried overload over document, over research, because I know there is not a day I won't get up to 6 or 10 research in the movement of what we are doing. That is why, if that thing is that is why, Biafrans, please, on this junction, I want to still thank those that are supporting me for the gadget. I want to thank all of you. Thank you so much for all you do. May your pocket never run dry. May Elohim protect and bless you for all you do, that to aims even the one you give to me. Thank you so much for that. And may God protect you in the name of the former days, all ye are for a care and the poor, and those who will join us. Our people are trying, but because of my choice, that is why up to today it's not enough, because it's only me know what I want and what can fit what I'm doing, because that is where I want to go until then. So the declaration of the state continuity, often called a re-declaration, this document formally rejects the authority of the occupying power and reinstates the state sovereignty remains within the exiled body. It remains with what? With the exiled body. So, Wazirike, continue with your shenanigan. The world knows the truth, and the truth is here with us. That is why whatever you may say doesn't matter. What matters is what? That we have achieved re-declaration of the lost Biafra from 1967 to 2024, November 8, then November 29 of 2024, Biafra was re-declared. We resurrected Biafra back again to become a sovereign state automatically. That is why our case is very simple in the international global community. That is why I told you that our case, our recognition will not waste time, because of what? We are not new country. We did not just make declaration. We have, and this Biafra we have re-declared is what a man killed himself because of what we passed through in America. So the histories are there, and the history must repeat. The history must repeat. And are we only the one that make the declaration? The answer is no. We are not only the one. Many countries in the past, even Poland, did that. We have achieved at this time. So please, if you're not joining me, please like and share the program, please. There is 3 dots in front of you. Click on that 3 dots. Then you will see the 3 dots will open. You will see like and share. Why our people are not liking program? That is one thing we find out. They will listen, but they will not like, and they will not share. When you listen and you did not like and you did not share, the program is not going viral. It's not going viral. Chinedu, thank you so much. My dear, note that even if such knowledge was there, please forgot that Uchechi eyes and brain was covered by DOS and Ifeanyi Ejiofor, aka Umuchineke. Thank you so much. Thank you. Our people are not forgetting, honestly. Our people are not forgetting. The only thing you can do in this program is to just like the program, open that 3 dots, and also subscribe on our page. This is the kind of message we share in this platform. We only bring the names of this inconsequential once we are on this kind of program. That is the truth. And this is all we do. They only to research, bring it another different narrative, so you will know the real truth. For me, I cannot come and talk what I think, because I will not achieve anything. But when we are explaining and acting on this same protocol of the world, then we can achieve many things. And the world also know, oh, so this thing we hide for these people, that we don't believe that we believe that they don't have this or research, so they have start. Then I both and open up. They will know that thing they are hiding, that we have will know it. That is why it's important. That's why Batobie is a man who believes in research. He's a man who believes in the histories of those who have been there to take from them and move on. That's why I ask you, whenever you come, the only thing you can do is what? Is to just like the program. Once you like and share, others will come and join us. But when even after this program, if you come across the platform, like the program, immediately you like the program, the information goes to another person. The like is not like what I'm asking for money for the gadget. It doesn't remove anything from your internet. But I check, you will see over 4,000 plus 7,000 viewers, but you can only see 7 like 70, 80, 100. It's too poor. The message is not going, because those who come and view and run away is not among us. They just sit and go because they don't understand what we are saying. But you who are a believer who understand what we are saying, are you telling us that among that 7,000 viewers or 4,000 viewers or 2,000, that is only 100 are Biafrans? Because of what? We don't like and we don't share the program. Whenever you come, once this is the first time of you in this page, you will not see the one on the left hand, your hand top like this. You can only see a 3 dots. Click on that 3 dots in any platform that you go that's sponsored, that's under this UAD government, that volunteer themselves to let our people know what you're supposed to know. Look on that 3 dots. Click on that 3 dots. It will open you with, that is where you will like and share. They hide it because of you are just new in that platform. Please, let's continue.
The formal charter or constitution. If the original territory's constitution is suspended, the GIE must issue a charter explaining how it will govern itself and its people, diaspora, until liberation.
Do you hear that? Do you hear it clearly? The formal charter or constitution, if the original territory constitution is suspended, yes, when you lost country in war or in the present country like Nigeria, who occupy our land, our constitution of Chukwuemeka Odumegwu was lost. If he uses charter, it was lost. And what happened here? Thank you so much. That is how you're supposed to blessing. You got it right. Someone need to always like before coming. Before I go into this, let me clarify something. 1822, a woman make declaration of Brazil as a country. This woman has sense, and he loves his husband so much, and she also understand that was a husband who understand a wife who understand what the husband is fighting for, the risk of non-declared the international non-declared declaration. What happened when this man left to seek for opinion, to talk to people in UK, in British, or in anywhere he went to? Like the woman knows that my husband might be arrested though. The country we are existing, the colonial master we want to live might have a plan, and the information might leak. He got arrested. What will save him? He now look at the only that will save my wife, my husband, is that I will call people that believe in him and educate them, then make declaration like what our DPM did. That what will save Simon Eber in Finland is what? This real declaration first. Then nobody will bring him down to Nigeria. Nobody will bring him down to Nigeria because of the real declaration that Finland did know that we have become a sovereign state already from that declaration. Then that is what this woman did, 1822. Then, do you know that the husband was arrested in UK? Then, when they listen at home, they've been heard that, oh, Brazil has become a sovereign state, too. Brazil has become a sovereign state, too. What happened? They let the man go as a president of a new country. Uchechi Kwole Kwole, who never loved his husband, cannot even reason at all. And he He believes because of the gain and the profit with the agreement he has with Okobo, Ifeanyi Ejiofor, and all of them, and DOS members, to sell and betray your husband. And you think you can eat your cake and have it back. It's not possible. And you can never do the damage control. Because the more you try, the more you expose yourself. Let's continue, my people. Now, back on where we are. Lesson said, Uchechi sold her husband. Respect to his husband's enemies. She betrayed her. She betrayed Mazen Nandekano, her husband. What a shame. Yes, so Uchechi is not a kind to be a decisive for such a long time. Is a very intelligent woman, so she what she wanted. Thank you for that comment. Despite it is not being clear, it's okay. We understand it. Thank you so much. Blessing. We continue. The former charter or constitution. If the origin territory constitution is suspended, the GIE must issue a charter explaining how it will govern itself and its people, diaspora, until liberation. Remember, Fondi Okoko, when we went to Finland in the first place, Obato Obie introduced what? Charter Chai. So Obato Obie read all this. What I am bringing out today, Obato Obie did not bring this one, but look at the name Charter. That you will first introduce charter when we are in struggle. When we are in liberation phase, then you use what? Constitution. That is, constitution is in the Amazon today. If you want to know how Biafra want to govern its territory, if you want to know the benefit of the citizens, if you want to know what government plan for you, go and look at Biafran charter in Amazon. Then you will understand what I'm saying. Yes, please, Biafra, thank you. Please hit the like button, share the program. Please. This is maximum 1 hour 20 minutes. We are only on 30 like. And we have over 1,000 already. And that's what I'm saying. Like the program, please. Like and share the program. It's very important. So, the former charter or constitution, if the original territory constitution is suspended, then the GIE must issue a charter, explain how it will govern itself and its people, diaspora, until liberation. Where? In diaspora, in exile. Hey, come back home now. Biafra movement of this 21st century started in diaspora. And from diaspora, we will bring it home. And we already bring it home. And you don't know because of your selfish interest, your stupid pride, and whatever that you may claim. Just continue.
Letters of credence. These are formal documents presented by ambassadors of the GIE to host countries to establish diplomatic relations.
What is government is doing today? That is what government is doing. That is what government of USB we are declared is doing. This is what government is doing. Diplomatic movement, establishing ambassadors, establishing more ambassadors. As the days are coming, you will be hearing the names of ambassadors that USB is going to establish more and more. These are the areas, this is how what it means to re-declare their country and proving that there's existing country already.
Executive decrees, extraterritorial, laws passed by the GIE that affect its citizens or assets abroad, e.g., freezing national gold reserves in foreign banks.
Are you hearing it? Introducing laws that will affect you and I in abroad, that will control us. And that law, on that law, no country will arrest us or do us anything. Are you following? Blessing said, Uchechi can never sleep no more. Sleep becomes, she has murdered the innocent sleep or her husband. She is now a lady. Thank you so much, Blessing. The government of USB, this is exactly what you are seeing here is what they are doing. They are on the right track. That's what I would always tell you, that your government, when you hear what is coming out here, what's coming to your mind? Let's continue.
2. Benefits under international law.
Benefit of re-declaration under international law. The benefit of re-declaration. Listen.
A recognized government in exile enjoys specific legal superpowers that a simple rebel group does not.
Do you hear it? That's why I told you, when you agitation or protest for long years, you like, the world will see you without this declaration. They see you as a rebel. The world will see you as weak as a rebel. The world will see IPOB as a rebel. The world will see Fallback as a rebel. The world will see Adanboch as a rebel. They only see the legitimate government is who? United States of Biafra were declared by Dr. Only Ngozi Onabueze and the cabinet members. Also, being signed with over 517 Biafrans in Finland. Sign our declaration document. You do not understand what that thing means. You need to go and ask the international law. Sign of document. What does it mean? It is important. Please like and share if you're just joining us. Please like and share the program if you're just joining us. So let us see the benefits of re-declaration by a government in exile.
Benefit, how it works. Sovereign immunity. Leaders and diplomats cannot be arrested or sued in the courts of host countries. They are treated as heads of state. Asset control. The GIE can legally sue in foreign courts to take control of state-owned bank accounts, embassies, and ships located abroad.
Are you listening? Benefit, sovereign immunity. Leader and the diplomatic cannot be arrested or sent in the court of hosting country. They are trending as head of a state. Now Chiria declare it. Sovereign immunity for the government of the USB and those who be in that government. Leaders and the diplomatic cannot be arrested or use the court of host country, use the court in America, like what you see the stupid Ogenkere doing. You don't know the name of your declaration. That is what Batobi, who knows, is telling you, withdraw, because Nige Jiaka Mayo Mogo Bunolo Ogenkere. That's what I all of you. Benefit of re-declaration is what I am telling you under international law. Benefit of re-declaration under international law. How it works. Brother or sister, if you want to subscribe, it's left to you to subscribe on our page. We are here to bring the international community guidelines and laws. Now that we have re-declared our country that was lost in 1970, that's why we are here. Proving under international law what is our benefit in this our re-declaration. Benefit, how it works, sovereign immunity. Leaders and the diplomatic cannot be arrested after the declaration or sue in any courts. The country of the host countries like America, Britain, England, Germany, any country where you are and you are a member of the cabinet as one of the leaders of this new declared government or a declared sovereign state, nobody will arrest you. Nobody. It can only be arrest when there is no real declaration. Do you understand? If our declaration was hold with Obatobia, nobody has any right to arrest him because he is what? They are trending as a head of a state in any country where they are in the world, in exile. Try. But what do you do? Asset control. Asset control. The GIE can legally sue in any foreign court to take control of a state owned by owners, by owning bank account, embassy, and the ship located borders. Now, it's because of our good heart, our DPM, the government of USB has right to issue Ogenkere because Ogenkere is occupying our embassy. But because of we are peace-loving, abiding people, the government now refused to issue to sue that Mugu. Now he turned back to come and sue the people of Biafra. Could you imagine? And threaten those he will kill, those he will arrested, those he will send to prison because he's Ojenga. He thought that everything is like that. He think about it. You know, everything is the way you think. Why you become Ojenga? Go about Ojenga and I got forget what. The capacity. They can sign new international agreements. Join organizations like the African Union or UN and request military aid. USB is requesting military aid, but I am not going to mention the country because I have already found it out by myself. Where they are requesting for military aid, 2 countries in this world, I can't mention it out. That is why I am happy in what the government is doing. Now, let's continue.
Treaty capacity. They can sign new international agreements, join organizations, like the African Union or UN committees, and request military aid. Locus standi. They have the right to stand in international courts like the ICJ, to bring cases against the occupying power.
Are you hearing it? Chai. USB or Maka. USB are always on point. They have the right to stand in international courts like the ICJ to bring case against the occupying power, Nigeria government. We have the rights. The legal process, we have the rights. Let's continue.
Consular powers. They can issue certificates of nationality or travel documents that allow their citizens to cross borders without the occupier's passport.
There is something you must understand. Remember what DPM said in one of his broadcasts. Oh, he said that very soon that we will travel with our documents. People are making mockery of that. But you can hear this is fact and figures. We are not the countries that have done that in the past. There is some countries that have done that in the past. There is countries that have passed this through that we are. That is why we must take the example from them. Are you not happy hearing the backup of our government right now? Why you know that the government is on the right track? With that re-education document, one day, you are the best and nothing will happen to you. You have been protected immediately. Let's continue. It's very important. They can issue certificates of nationality. ID card is involved. Have you taken your ID card? Or traveling document that allows the citizens to cross border without the occupying passports. They call it humanitarian movement. The law that guides it call it humanitarian movement. Under that law, now that Biafra has been re-declared, we have every right to sign agreement that the Biafran people under USB have to travel with the passport. Please, bring the passport. We are begging you. We are begging for USB passports. with the agreement that we can use to travel anywhere we want to travel in this world. Let's continue.
3. The presumption of continuity. The most important benefit is a legal principle called post liminium, or the presumption of continuity. Under international law, once a state is recognized, there is a strong bias toward its survival. Even if the state loses its territory, one of the 4 pillars of the Montevideo Convention, international law allows the government pillar to stand in for the others temporarily. The legal fiction. As long as a GIE exists and is recognized by at least one other major power, the state is not extinct. It is merely dormant. Protection against annexation. Because the GIE maintains the DOI, the occupier cannot legally claim the land is theirs through prescription, ownership by long-term possession.
Oh, I never know. I never know that something sweet is out there for us. So, the most important benefit is legal principle. The most important benefit is what? Legal principle called post-liminality, or the post-promulgation of continuity. Under international law, once a state is recognized, there is a strong base towards its survival. The Biafra we are talking about, that we declared, is the Biafra we fought for. That is the Biafra we went into, they declared, and that is the Biafra Mazen Nande Kanu is fighting to restore. That is the Biafra Obatobi is fighting to restore. That is why we cannot do without 2 of them. They are the president and the prime minister. Nobody will take away from them. So, as you can see, as you can understand, everything is in our cupboard. That's it. If the state lost its territory, one of the 4 pillars of the Montevideo Convention, international law allows the government pillar to stand in the front to stand in for the other let me take it easy. International law allows the government pillar to stand in for the other temporary. Now, do we lose our territory in the hands of Nigeria? The answer is yes. We lost our territory. I don't know what they're telling us here. One of the international law is what? Montevideo Convention. That a sovereign, we need what? A permanent population. We need a permanent population to become a sovereignty. We need identifying territory, the 40 states. We need government, the US government. We also need capacity to sign treaties and agreement. We all in that already. That is why that we are on the right track at all time. Nobody will stop what we are doing. Now, for you to be a sovereign state, we are declared, not new one, a sovereign state. That word, a population that was there before the war, need to prove we are still alive. For that is why we conducted over 50 million Biafrans for self-referendum vote, proving that there is a permanent population of people living. You become automatically a sovereign state that has regained his immunity back with all that is happening. We must continue.
Historical note. During World War II, the Dutch government in exile in London was able to command its merchant navy.
Okay. Protection against an external extension. Because of the IG maintaining the declaration, the occupier cannot longer claim the land. There is true ownership of the land. We are the true owner. After our declaration, Nigeria still occupy a foreign land, they must leave in due time, not by woto. The law will chase them away in due time. That is why you must be in support of the movement of this government so much, because of everything is under legal. That is what they really want at this time. That is what the protocol of the Geneva Convention give us at hand to do. Are you following? You must continue.
Navy and manage its colonial territories in the East Indies because their legal fact, the DOI Constitution, was recognized by the Allies, even though the Netherlands was fully occupied.
Are you hearing it? Historical notes. Another example. During the World War II, the Dutch German in exile London was able to command its monarch, navy, and manage its colonial territory in the Eastern Indies because the legal facts, because of what? The Declaration Constitution. Because of what? They also present what? Their own Declaration Constitution, not only us. There was a time Dutch was in government in exile, Netherlands. That is how they declare their independence. And when it comes, they present it to the world, proving everything that the declaration is real. And there is a permanent population of people who are in that territory as it's been declared. Are you following? Are we still here? I want to know. Please, if you like the program, I will be very happy. Anytime you watch this program, please like, let it go viral for Ndio see for everybody to know the right thing to do. Not they will not accept because of their stupid pride and the ignorance that they're walking away from. That is very important for us to do. Let's continue. Was recognized by the Allies, even through the Netherlands was fully occupied. The Netherlands country was fully occupied by colonial master. What happens? There was an exile in London, make their declaration. And what happens? They come back, take over their territory. Because of what? They did their declaration of Netherlands as a country. They did not call Netherlands and go back and answer another different name. The answer is hell no.
Summary. The paper shield. The redeclaration is the paper shield that protects a nation's soul when its body, the land, is captured. It ensures that when the conflict ends, the state doesn't have to reapply for existence. It simply returns to its original status.
I hope for you declared Biafra, but it did not protect your border. Do you hear that Netherlands was occupied? That because of the Great British or those or German people who was trying to take over the land of Portugal, they was occupying the land. Did they stop the declaration? The answer is no. They declare it to have the right as a sovereign state to ask them to leave towards the document of their declaration. Talk less of we that will do our declaration. The declaration is a paper shield that protects a nation soul when its body, the land, is captured. When what? When the land was what? Captured. The redeclaration is a paper shield that protects a nation's soul, the soul of the nation. That is who we are. From that place, we become a sovereign state. Despite that, the body, the land is captured. It ensures that when the conflict ends, the state does not have to reapply for existence. It simply returns to its origin state. We are not no sovereignty in the world. We already have sovereignty. We are already existing country. We only trying to get our way back to our country. We will do that with the legal aspect of it. because the legal is a paper shield. The declaration becomes a legal paper shield that protects the heart, the soul of the nation. That's why the body is being occupied by the Nigerian government. The time has come for us to know the truth. Yes, Netherlands were once in exile. Is the Netherlands? Wait, we have every evidence. We are not the first to declare country in exile. Let me give you names. I have it here with their years and their numbers of the countries who was in exile. We did not just come here to come and talk. We come here with fact and figure, with evidence. For those who do not understand the movement of a new country, the movement of realization of a country that was lost through the war, it's what we're handling this time around. And this program must continue. Before I even go to that, let me give you a names of country a woman make their declaration in the world. A woman make the declaration like what our DPM did. Brazil was being declared by a woman 1822, September the 2nd. Check the history. Israel was being declared by a woman on May 14, 1948. A woman. Congo, a woman, 1960. Ghana, 1900. Ghana. South Africa. The apartheid regime, when Nelson Mandela was inside, who led the apartheid regime was a woman. And that woman was there who pilot the affair until Nelson Mandela comes out. News on social media. What of Belarus 2020? A woman from Russia, almighty Russia, released Belarus. They become a country. What of Madagascar? 1920. What of Namibia? 1962. From South Africa, a woman, government in exile, 1990. What of Sao Tome and the Principe of yesterday? What of India? When Mahatma was inside, a woman declared India 1907 as a country. What of Algeria? 1954 to 1962, woman. All these countries are in exile except Brazil. Except Brazil. You know, it did not end there. It did not end there. When we grab these gadgets, everything we do on the screen, you'll be seeing it. Let me count for you from in Africa. Ethiopia was being declared by government in exile 1963 to 1941. Ethiopia. Algeria, 1962 to 1985. Exile government. Angola, 1975, Angola. Guinea-Bissau, 1973 to 1940 to 1974. What of Mozambique? 1975, government in exile. Namibia, 1990, government in exile. Zimbabwe, 1980, government in exile. Eritrea, 1993, from Ethiopia. Eritrea got their independence from Ethiopia. Namibia got their independence from South Africa. Belarus 2020 got their independence from Russia. In this 21st century that happened. These are countries in the world, they use government in exile. They are in exile and make the declaration. Let me give you an example. Namibia their government was in Angola when a woman make the official declaration of Namibia. You see this woman that is a president of Namibia today. She was the woman who led this movement. Today, she has come back to become the president of Namibia, a woman for that matter. Don't mind fools that could not be able to research. That is why we are here. Come and bring your argument. Come and bring your argument. Let us see. In summary, the redeclaration is a paper shield that protects a nation's soul when its body, the land, is captured. It's ensuring that when the conflict ends, the state does not have to reapply for existence. It is a simple return to its origin status. I hope it will play in the show, my people. We are here with facts and figures. Look at what I am reading. I am not making a story. Look at it. It's a document that are there before us. It's a matter of taking my time, thinking of what I will ask about this movement that we're into. I'm able to find an answer. That's why we are here. The second session, I will play it. I will not explain it because of my time until we come back tomorrow again. Then tomorrow, I will take my time to explain it in details. That is the program we are going to run tomorrow. What we are going to hear, I said I will not explain, is with only agitation under self-determination and the protest under self-determination of a lost country, can the world call you and give you that you are a country? And they said, come, let us talk about your matter. Can the world give you a country because of you agitating, talk of agitating for a lost country? They said in short answer, no. Listen.
Would you like me to help you draft a template for a formal statement of diplomatic continuity that a government in exile might send to the United Nations?
Listen.
The short answer is no. Without a formal redeclaration or a clear legal claim of statehood, the international community will almost always treat the movement as a domestic human rights issue rather than a sovereignty dispute. In international law, there is a massive legal wall between people who are unhappy, protest, and a state that is occupied, redeclaration. 1. The trap of agitation. When a group only protests or agitates without a formal declaration of continuity, the internal matter label, foreign governments, like the UK, USA, or UN, will use the excuse that they cannot interfere in the internal affairs of the parent country. They will call for dialogue or better treatment, but they will never call for independence. No legal seat. You cannot send an ambassador to a protest. You can only send an ambassador to a state, even one in exile. Without a declaration, there is no office for a foreign power to talk to. The statute of limitations. If you wait too many years without a formal legal claim, international law begins to assume that you have acquiesced, accepted, being part of the parent country. 2. Why the redeclaration is the magic key. The declaration changes the status of the people from minorities seeking rights to citizens of an occupied nation. Feature: agitation/protest, redeclaration/GIE. Legal goal: reform of the current system, replacement of the current system. International law, human rights law, weak protection, law of armed conflict, /statehood, strong, foreign aid, humanitarian charity, food/medicine, diplomatic support, and state-to-state aid, end game, or sovereignty/reinstatement. 3. The silent death of a cause. If a country is lost in war and the survivors only protest, the world eventually applies the doctrine of prescription. This means that if country A holds the land of country B for long enough without a formal legal state-level challenge, the world eventually recognizes country A as the legal owner, simply because they have been there the longest. The redeclaration stops the clock. It tells the world, we do not care if they have been here for 50 years. We still claim this land under our original 1967, 1914, etc. legal authority. 4. Case study: the forgotten versus the recognized. The Kurds have agitated and protested for decades with massive movements. However, because they have often focused on autonomy within Iraq or Turkey, rather than a consistent, unified government in exile with a single DOI, they struggle to get state-level recognition. The Sahrawi, Western Sahara, They have a much smaller population and less land, but they declared a republic immediately. Because of that document, they are a member of the African Union, and 80+ countries have recognized them at some point. Summary. Without a redeclaration, you are asking for pity. With a redeclaration, you are asserting a right. International recognition is a legal process. You cannot win a legal battle if you haven't filed the paperwork, the DOI. Would you like me to show you the specific standard operating procedure for how a group transitions from a protest movement into a formal state in exile?
Yes, our line is open for 10 minutes in case if anyone want to call. The number to call is plus 9 7 3 6 0 5 1 3 7. In case if you want to call us, the number to call is plus 9 7 3 6 0 5 1 3
Hosanna Bukole, Hallelujah. Hosanna Bukole, Hallelujah.
Hello, good afternoon, good evening from here.
Good morning, good afternoon from my location, brother.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you so much. Happy New Year. We have said it before. We continue repeating it because we are still in the month of New Year, brother.
Yes.
I greet each and every one of us on the comment section. I greet my people. I appreciate each and every one of us for holding the line strong as we continue to push. Thank you so much, my brother, Ribiafa TV.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
Thank you for the year so far. We'll continue to pray for Chukwuka Biama to intensify and touch the heart of our people to support, to ensure that you acquired what you need. So now, when these people jumped out to talk, in most cases, I don't know what they think we are. I don't really know what actually, convince them that they will always remain on top. Remember, there is an adjective that says in Igbo language, na ike na ala ike na harielu.
Yes, so
the more you grow old, the more your strength goes down. And there is no champion. There is no champion on this planet Earth. There is no champion forever.
Yes.
So this man coming out now to brag, I saw that post. I was like, hey, this man, I'm na stage. I know now I was the stage. I na cannot boy me.
Exactly.
He's here telling us now. He has come up boldly to tell us that Biafra it belongs to him, and there is nobody have to touch it again.
Exactly.
Very shameful human being. This same man. So, Ocheki, how many years is gonna take to fight for freedom? That means her plan for it. He wants to maintain.
Do you listen to us say it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He wants to put it in on an equilibrium way. Nkebu Ghana is on a cruise movement. Kigabo every 4 years, yeah, they cash it out. Every 4 years, yeah, cash it out. This same man now talk with this rubbish in war was wicked. Now, how many people under him?
Oji River.
Okugeya.
Oji River Mnemunihu.
Okugeya. Now, listen. This same man, the kind of pressure Haman throw Nande by in a homeland, because when we have access to abroad, homeland corner, the kind of task. To listen that now people when I sit now, I have quote like Biafra and the partner I have to say you. I am telling you the gospel truth. Ana lekwoto shidemoro na ya nwere nke a na ya nwere nke a na ya nwere ego before. This is the same spirit of Ogenkere. The same people that operate on the same level. Only as you are called ya to bar for in 10 years. Bamu Igbo le ko pere na zoo ah. Igbo le ko pere before as le and when na ha na wo only this particular Biafran Biafra ta ha. Now le Bobugria now also ya na fight Biafra on non Exodus.
Non Exodus. Hey,
also non-violence Godiche. Non-violence Godiche. Also on non Exodus.
Yes.
One day, that means only sort of Biafra Ghana so nwoke man na headway. Elezi keri ho bia na gwa ya. Ha goglo ihe Exodus obo.
Yes.
Then now that Exodus Exodus ahụ abbreviation Exodus kwa ezito.
Ọpụpụ n'okwu Igbo anyị apụọla ebe a anyị nọzikwa ebe a ọpụpụ ka a na-abịa
Exodus ahịa ya wụ exit ya agbazie gị na ọ na-fight Biafra on non-exit. That means ọ chọrọ ịdị nọ n'ime Nigeria maintain that this thing ya onwe ihe ọ na-enye ya egiri na agamapụ enye ya ahụ ihe kulo head down. That is political pressure.
I have. The
Political
same
pressure.
topic of IPOB.
Yes. Now bring it down to also now hijack. When I look at this anomaly, this is Ukiki. That's not hijack. Okay, me pronia. These people when they talk, they will forget what they said yesterday. Biata ko here. So the same system as Zuji. I won't never hishajaja. Okay, ma potra. See. Okay, our PM nona eme awa so strong. Yama potrabo so ahead. You people think that you can stop me. And why you put you go and stop him? Now look at what they are doing. You have stopped Wazirike. Can't you go and stop him? Can't you go and stop him? Yakawa Oteshi stop Oya. Now on a prison. Hana where drop Biafra. Yajo. Haga for the whole command they are nearly. Biana said that meet Commander ya nọ n'ihu ya ga-agwa ya sị na ihe anyị kwa ya rụchakwala na ọbazighị uru na ya na amnesty na ọzọkwa naanị ya nọ. That he has no option than to give up. Ka ọ bịara na-akọ eri akụkọ ha akọ hijack. Anyway, ihe bụ our own is not going to be the first and it's not going to be the last. Enwere history of rebel in freedom fighting. You go and here because regards to red Finland and white Finland.
Yeah, even kind of agitation without declaration, you become a rebel. Agitation.
That is it now.
Protest without agitation, you become a rebel. Go on.
Yes. Ugbu a ka ọ mana na ọ ga-abịa elect prime minister after how many years? Ka ihe metro ji ele the criteria o ji na-emege prime minister elect under which umbrella pan? Ịhụnanya after how many years? Ya ma na ugbu a ka ọ ga-eteta n'ụra. Well, America nwere ya akwa ngwa na-ekwu ya enwere even time is coming na a ga-use ndị clergies na ha ekwu okwu against Biafra na ha like Nigeria.
Yes,
America,
Anglican bishop.
The time is coming. Yeah, my bishop, my can, my we na Ghana. They will still over Ghana have a quick adopt a shani because a chobe he could direct. I don't give it on a Yoruba. I don't need Kalibu. What at na preacher, I ban a lot. Yeah, now say that na I don't know these people. Na Nigeria got them Monday now agitating. We should stop it. That we should come together, let them build their construction. Oh, Boga, preachers now give the preach where preachers give the preach where because all the enemies of Biafra must show their face. Mandike hide them under the shell. All Otologa Tolite Amandi ha was so that Ana Banala, Hayaga, when they can't warm, give so I patanala. Thank you so much, my brother. Speaking on radio. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate your calling. Thank you. Yes, like I said, our line is open in case if you decide to call us. You are free to call at any time you want before we show the program done. Because of my time, I have to go to work. Honestly, I must go to work. It's very important. Yes, I want you to take your time. Listen to the program, maybe after the program. Before we come back tomorrow, because tomorrow This area I'm going to play now, we are going to revisit it back for our explanation on it tomorrow because of my time. We have up to 1, 2, 3, 4 to do it. So we have only done one today. Tomorrow we will finish the 3. I'll come up in time so we can be able to finish it.
The short answer is no. Without a formal redeclaration or a clear legal claim of statehood, the internet.
Let me tell you when you hear no, type on your phone, on the Google, type. Let me tell you what I type to get what I'm doing. I am not using Google to research. But sometimes Google is giving a mixed up history. Google sometimes give a history of, they are not balancing the equation. So that is why when you want to research, you must have a special history, a special app that's giving you the history the way it is, or what you are looking for the way it is. Type on your phone to get a little bit what we are doing today. Just type. With only agitation and the protest for a lost country through war for many years, can international community or international law call you a country? That is what I want you to type. Okay, because of that will be tomorrow, please. And if you want to get the link very fast, type Deputy Prime Minister Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala on S handle. Under her S, that is why you must follow her. Under the S handle, then you will see the link of ID card first. You will have the ID card first before going to passport. So under that, type Dr. Deputy Prime Minister Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala on S handle S. Just type it on your phone. Type there, then it will take you to her page. Then you will see the link of Biafra ID card as we are waiting for our passport to be ready. Please, never to do that. And never to do that. I am telling you what you will type so you can be able to get information. I want us to have this information on our own so nobody will deceive you. Nobody will deceive. The time has passed for deceived. The time has passed for that thing what Zike is talking. The time has passed for what you see all of them doing today. The time is no longer there. I want you to know the truth. That is why when I come, I give you the assignment on so you can go and prepare for tomorrow. So if I'm coming, if there's something I'm missing up, you can be able to ask me a question. If you're missing anything, you can be able to ask me a question. For tomorrow.
National community will almost always treat the movement as a domestic human rights issue, rather than a sovereignty dispute. In international law, there is a massive legal wall between people who are unhappy, protest, and a state that is occupied, redeclaration. 1. The trap of agitation. When a group only protests or agitates without a formal declaration of continuity, the internal matter label, foreign governments, like the UK, USA, or UN, will use the excuse that they cannot interfere in the internal affairs of the parent country. They will call for dialogue or better treatment, but they will never call for independence.
Do you get this place clearly? Without declaration, without real declaration of this lost old country that you are starting to have, without they said the internal matter, rebel, foreign government like the UK, US, or UN will use the excuse that they cannot interfere in the international affair of a present country, they will call for dialogue or better treatment, but they will never call for independency. They will never call for what? Independency with your agitation. They will say that the matter of your agitation is internal affair of Nigeria, not external affair that they will put their mouth. Because of what? They will represent, they will respect the territorial integrity of Nigeria. That is why they will remain adamant. That is why they are not serious about the case of Maazị Nnamdi Kanu, because of IPOB could not stood up, make a declaration that will exonerate Maazị Nnamdi Kanu for being a terrorist, for being a common criminal. Rather, they remain silent, and the world will talk small for dialogue. But for them to call for outright independence, they will not. Then look at it here. They said UK, US, or UN, any country in the world will not intervene about the independence. But if you have made a declaration, then they will have rights to intervene, as this is no longer internal matter of one Nigeria. It becomes external affair of remedial secession, a movement. And the declaration removes you from a movement of a political politics or rebel group. Now it puts you on the hold of a sovereign state automatically. That is how it is, my people. Sorry because of my time. We are going to end it here until we come back tomorrow. But I will be playing, as I'm preparing, I will be playing some voice. I will be playing these documents that we are playing right now and those we are going to do tomorrow to refresh your mind and get you ready for tomorrow. So you may be asking, I want you to be asking questions. You can even type on what is bothering you that you want me to research for you. Put it in the comments and I will take my time to do that. When we come, we discuss about it. So it will be clear to you. Madam Ngozi, I greet you. Good evening from here. Ngozi, thank you so much for coming. I greet you all. I greet you.
No legal seat. You cannot send an ambassador to a protest. You can only send an ambassador to a state, even one in exile. Without a declaration, there is no office for a foreign power to talk to. The statute of limitations. If you wait too many years without a formal legal claim, international law begins to assume that you have acquiesced, accepted, being part of the parent country. 2. Why the redeclaration is the magic key. The declaration changes the status of the people from minorities seeking rights to citizens of an occupied nation. Feature: agitation/protest. Redeclaration/GIE. Legal goal: reform of the current system. Replacement of the current system. International law, human rights law, weak protection, law of armed conflict, /statehood, strong, foreign aid, humanitarian charity, food/medicine, diplomatic support, and state-to-state aid. End game, autonomy, or better treatment, total sovereignty/reinstatement. 3. The silent death of a cause. If a country is lost in war and the survivors only protest, the world eventually applies the doctrine of prescription. This means that if country A holds the land of country B for long enough without a formal legal state-level challenge, the world eventually recognizes country A as the legal owner, simply because they have been there the longest. The redeclaration stops the clock. It tells the world, we do not care if they have been here for 50 years. We still claim this land under our original 1967, 1914, etc. legal authority. 4. Case study: the forgotten versus the recognized. The Kurds have agitated and protested for decades with massive movements. However, because they have often focused on autonomy within Iraq or Turkey, rather than a consistent, unified government in exile with a single DOI, they struggle to get state-level recognition. The Sahrawi, Western Sahara, they have a much smaller population and less land, but they declared a republic immediately. Because of that document, they are a member of the African Union, and 80-plus countries have recognized them at some point. Summary. Without a redeclaration, you are asking for pity. With a redeclaration, you are asserting a right. International recognition is a legal process. You cannot win a legal battle if you haven't filed the paperwork, the DOI. Would you like me to show you the specific standard operating procedure for how a group transitions from a protest movement into a formal state in exile? To transition from a protest movement to a state in exile, a group must move from the language of grievance, protesting what is wrong, to the language of authority, acting as the law. Here is the standard operating procedure, SOP, that successful movements have used to cross that bridge. Step 1. The formal act of continuity, the document. The movement must issue a proclamation of state continuity. This is different from a protest flyer. It must use legal language to establish the legal lineage. We are the successors to the government of year. The nullification. All laws and treaties signed by the occupying power regarding our territory are hereby declared null and void. The mandate. It must name a provisional government so the world knows exactly who is in charge. Step 2. Establishment of extraterritorial institutions. To be a state, you must behave like a state. Even without land, the group must build the shadow cabinet. Appoint a Minister of Foreign Affairs, Finance, and Justice. The Civil Registry. Start recording the births, deaths, and marriages of your diaspora. This proves you have a permanent population, a key requirement of the Montevideo Convention. National Treasury. Establish a formal way to collect national contributions and provide a transparent budget. Step 3. Diplomatic tier jumping. The goal is to move from meeting with NGOs to meeting with state officials. The host country agreement. Secure a headquarters agreement with a sympathetic nation, like London for the Free French or India for the Tibetans. This gives the group a physical location that is legally treated as their sovereign soil in exile. Recognition strategy. Focus first on functional recognition, getting a country to accept your travel documents before asking for formal recognition, full embassies. Step 4. Building the legal record. A state in exile must constantly object to the occupier's actions in writing. The note verbally. Send formal diplomatic notes to the UN and foreign embassies every time the occupier does something on your land. The purpose. If you don't object, international law assumes you have acquiesced, given up. These documents create a paper trail for a future court case at the International Court of Justice, ICJ. Comparison. The shift in strategy. Feature. Protest movement stage. State in exile stage, SOP. Activity. Marches and rallies. Diplomatic briefings and treaties. Identity. Members, or activists. Citizens, and officials. Funding. GoFundMe/donations. National tax/sovereign funds. Communication. Social media/press releases. Official gazettes/diplomatic notes. Why this SOP matters for the lost country. History shows that countries are often lost on the battlefield, but won, back in the courtroom decades later. The Baltic states followed this SOP for 50 years. Kuwait followed this SOP for 7 months in 1990, while Iraq occupied their land. Because Kuwait had a functioning government in exile in Saudi Arabia that followed this operating system, the UN was able to legally authorize a war to restore the legitimate government. Without that government in exile, it would have been much harder to justify the intervention. Would you like me to draft a sample certificate of nationality that a government in exile would issue to its citizens to demonstrate this administrative authority?
I hope you have listened to this. But I promise you by tomorrow, we are going to go into deep analysis of all this we are hearing. Because of the time, that is why we can end it off now. So from me, from here, it is a wonderful day. Have a wonderful weekend. And thank you all. We must continue. Please, at any time you come across this video, please like and share the program. Because that is only how this message will go far. If you are not liking the program, it's not moving. If you are not sharing, it's not moving. If you know, first thing you need to do once you come to a page like this, you like. If you're not subscribed, you subscribe. Once you share, the share will take you to where you will like the program. So where you will subscribe and turn notification on so know when we are live. So I thank you all for being here. May Elohim continue to bless us and keep us safe as we are pushing for our recognition that is not far from us. They said, we must act like a state before a state recognize us. This world tomorrow, we are going to need to kill fallback and all this noise that they are making. So from me, from here, it is time for peace out. Thank you, my people.